on with this rear breather here. This is what the complete unit finished looks like. And this right here in the catalog, it's the part number for this whole thing is 9249T. That's a nice one right there. It's got a new leather in it and the correct spring. It's a really good one right there. I show you that for the reasoning. Oh, there's that Cracker Barrel toothpick. We'll put that right back up there. There's a handy little tool right there, that Cracker Barrel toothpick. But I'm going to try to get this right. If I get it wrong, just leave a comment down there. I'll show you something on these breathers here. It's a breather video. And the difference is this breather here, I'm putting this together. This breather here and this breather here are for the Type M International, and then later on McCormick-Deering Type M flywheel engine, gas engine, kerosene, and according to time period. I was cutting some gaskets and getting up some springs there, putting some leathers on yonder. And it come to my attention that well, we talked about this one time, but not in all seriousness. And it's that same thinking is the wrong part on the wrong year. And that was the reason for me to drag out these manuals from long ago. And this one right here, that's a 1917 International Type M. It's what we're working on. A 1917. The printing date was 5/9/17. That's the earliest one of those I have. Okay, just one that was on top of the pile. This is 1920. That's 8/7/20. It's close enough to explain the differences here. And immediately, if you go into this book right here, you should have one of these. If you have this, if you own an M, you should have one of these in your possession. I don't have one for sale. Believe me, I'm not blowing my own horn here. You know, somebody else will make some money on that. Or if you have a friend, they could reprint it and give you a copy of it, which is, this one was given to me by a real good friend. That's a copy. But the point I'm making, in this 1917 verified, I had the original book in hand. When you look at the rear of the engine, right here, you'll find this. This right here. That's in that picture right there. I don't think that's the one they took the picture of, but it's identical to it. I have two of them right here. Okay, they're 1917 or 18. These could have been in. I think the engine I have, I think, is a 1918. I think it is. But this is original paint, even to the color that was on that engine, and I kept this as original. That one. And this one here I cleaned up in the electrolysis and primered it, but it's the same thing. It's vintage. Those two. I do have this engine. Looking ahead, little harshness in the throat there for some reason. Talking too fast. Looking in this book here, dated 1920, the same engine, except this is overstrike and that's an understrike. There's a couple of different differences that are well worth having these two instruction manuals in hand to compare the two. And the other one is this breather here. That's this one right here. This one here took apart. That's it. So the two differences within a couple 1 year span. Okay, the point the reason, and this is well worth taking note of if you want to. If it's something you think you'll need you to know, then pay attention. It's important. And that gasket there that I cut, you know, somebody's going to ask how thick that is, and I really don't know. But it's kind of on the thick side, but it's the right color at least. This one here was only on 1 year. I made a note. 19 and 19 was the only year that this. I'm gonna put it together as we talk about it. There was only a year that this breather was put on an engine. Only 1 year, and I'm gonna put some Permatex around there, right around outside there. It's not something you do not. It's not something you want to leave out. It's important, just a little. Don't put enough on there to where it. I know you're gonna say, how come you didn't use that gas all on there? And there's a reason. I'll tell it to you. The flange thicknesses on this casting here, it's cast iron. The flange thicknesses, meaning where the gasket's going to go, it's like 1/8 of an inch at best, and right there is hardly nothing. It's in thousandths. So it's important. Make sure that you have a good seating surface in here. This is the check valve we're going to use right there. That's it, with a new thing on it. Okay, now before we move on, let's talk about them springs. And this spring right here was the spring that was in this breather here when I took it apart. This spring, and then it had this thing in there, but the leather had deteriorated beyond being there. So, but when you assemble it back together with this spring here, even with the new leather and everything on it, when you put it in there, it's still almost 1/8 of an inch below level. And this top piece right here, it's simple deduction, guys, girls, scholars, simple deduction. That this flapper here has to have enough spring tension in order to at least make it be some distance above level, plumb. If you, I'll show you something. If you hold it up this way right here and sight right down through yonder, then when you looked at it, you would want to see this sticking out, be out of plumb. Like this, not like this right here, just this way. There's another word for that. Whew, man. If you know what that word is, leave a comment. I think it's going to be something that we don't need to know, but okay. This breather here was 19 and 19 was the only year they made it, and they made it for the 1.5, the 3, and the 6 in the kerosene model. 1919, that was the only year they used that. Before that, the engine you got would have had this in it. Okay, and then if you had this engine, or if you had this engine, and you went to the dealership to get you a breather, say something happened to this and then you need another one, when you went up there and he looked in the parts book, it would refer him to this one, which is the one that was so many. This is the one you'll have most likely. If you've got this on a late model engine, it's not right. Take it off. Now that you know it to be a fact, you can set it right. It'd be better not to have one on it. Well, no, it'd be better to have this, because this was on a 1920. So I did locate a spring. This is another spring out of a good breather, and you can see there it's well, it's not hardly half tension going out of it, but this is the original one. And you can take note of stuff like this right here when you find a good one as to what you think that tension is, and it's not very much. It's just enough. I can explain it to you. It's just enough tension there to, when you put this little thing and see under, can y'all see across yonder? You see that's a little bit higher. So when I put that top on there, it's going to hold it just at closed. That's all it's required of it, just at closed. And I cut a gasket, and I did leave it a little bit big because I want to be confident that I don't have no leaks. You know, it's just unnecessary to have a leak. It's just all I got to say about that. And put that right on there. And like I say, this is the one that they refer to as the 4-bolt. Only 1 year of production, and that don't mean that it's worth all of that much more money. You know what I mean? If you've got an engine that has this on it and it's the wrong year model, and you have a friend that has the other one, well, pass it on to him and then find yourself a late model one. You know, make a friend. So it's kind of the way I got this one right here. It was a real deal. And these goes on backwards. The front goes in the front and the back goes in the back. We got the gasket, we got the spring, we got the little flapper in there, and it's correct and everything. And these right here are just 1/4 20 bolts, no cadmium plated bolts. Go to the trouble, if you've got one of these and you're doing this here and you need some new bolts in it, go to the trouble to locate them. It's not that hard to do. By all means, get unplated bolts for your old engines. You know, man, how easy that is. But tighten these up really good. And I left that gasket, I always do. Actually, there's a little bit of play in these in order to line this top and bottom up. There's a little bit of play, but not very much. And I did leave that gasket just a shade big, so that I'd have the opportunity to go right around it. You know, see it's sticking out a little bit. So what I'll do is take that blade. Oh, it's safe enough, you know. And I'll take that blade and go right around through yonder and trim away that excess. Oh, that's pretty good. And a little thinner to go there. I'll get that off with a little thinner right there. And I'll show you something else too. Now, was the question, I think they was talking about this up on Harry's old engine website. I'm pretty sure there was. And I think that the person had this breather. Yeah, the top of that right there is a 1796 is a part number on that top, and that bottom right there is a 1795T part number. Okay, if you get this whole thing right here, it will be a 1797T. That's assembled. And what I was going to show you is the hole in the back of the engine is 3/8 pipe. Is this right here in this early model? Okay, so that this breather would not have went on. The very first one would not have been there. Then the inlet, the part that goes to the engine, as compared to this two bolt, the part that goes to the engine, they have the same size. It's 1/2 inch pipe. They have the same, right here it is, inlet from the engine is the same. Right there. Goes right there and it goes here. Oh, okay. If you turn both of these around, if you turn the I got two tops out there. I had a bottom. Here they are. When you turn the bottoms around, they are 3/8 pipe, which is this turn down thing right here. This is the part that goes downward. Usually with a pipe coming down here like this right here, the drain pipe, and then the inlet would have been this 1/2 inch pipe. And they only used this on 1 year, 19 and 19. So, you know, if you've got a 1924, then this would not be the breather to use on it. So, it's kind of interesting. And that's the same setup here. If you the one that they say to replace it with would be the same 3/8 pipe. Would be like that. Would be the same thing. 1/2 inch pipe on both ends. On this end, 3/8 here. Same way. So that's just what I'm doing today is assembling these two. And I'll show you something. Like this spring right here. See, that spring's it's a little strong. It's too long. When you put that in there and you put this on here and you push all that down, see, that's too tight. See, it would not work. It's a PVC valve is what it is. That's all it is, a PVC valve. But you can get all of these parts in harmony with each other, and your engine. What this does is when the piston comes back. When the piston comes back, the air be coming, the pressure in the crankcase, in the housing, will be pushing backwards on here, pushing out. Okay, then when the piston goes forward, it pulls a vacuum, and that check valve in there comes up there and vacuums that, and it puts a slight positive vacuum on the crankcase, so that your oil don't go out. So you don't, ideally you would never have too much air in there, because that would blow the oil out through the bearings. And the way this thing is supposed to be regulated and everything, and that size, in a perfect world, it would expel exactly that amount of air, and then when it pulled a vacuum, then it would pull exactly amount of vacuum to where that you wasn't pulling all of the oil away from the bearings. You was hitting that perfectly happy medium to where it could go all the way to the end. Oh, we got some brilliant engineers in this world capable of that feat. I'm from here on the East Coast of Arkansas. That's a different story right there, not to be told today.